Good morning, everybody, and again it is really a outstanding morning here again. Look at the beach, and I just had a wonderful walk like every morning, and I was able to think about some of the questions that my students asked me yesterday, because this is actually a question that comes up at the same moment like there is a mastery of skills. When you are starting to do art, you are so much concerned with the skills, the how to, that it is taking all your focus. And it is great for most of the artists that they are focusing so much, especially in the beginning, on the skills. But nevertheless, there comes a moment when the question is asked, okay, now I understand how to do art, but where is this heading to? And I find it always interesting, because it is a moment of, in a way, of awakening, that something that the student was always dreaming of achieving the skills, being able to have a nice walk somewhere and see things and then recreate those things in art. This is actually happening, and when you have a good technique that you can teach, this moment is coming. So there is a moment when the student is asking, what is my direction right now? And I think this is an outstanding question to ask, and I am also always so proud in a way that students are asking this question straight out. They have the bravery to and the trust to ask someone, okay, now I have this vehicle, now I know how to drive it, where is this heading to? And this is perhaps one of the most important moments during your development as an artist, to be aware that actually the execution of art is not everything, but the direction, the purpose that you want to achieve with this, with your art, is much more important. And when you are looking at the successful artists that are out there in the museums and so on, what we admire often is, of course, the skill set, the mastery and so on. But nevertheless, we have always a feeling, especially when we are falling in love with a special artist, that we are also falling in love with his direction. We are falling in love with the sense of purpose that we sense behind his art. And this is something that is outstanding, that art is going beyond the skills, the mastery of materials. It is pointing to something bigger, a bigger idea that's behind the art of the art of the artist, or the bigger vision that is manifesting through this artist. And being aware that also you have the right and you have the choice to pick a purpose, a vision for your art, is something that is really outstanding. It is an outstanding opportunity, because now, in addition to what you have mastered, there comes the next layer, something that is going beyond the obvious. Like perhaps you can what story would be the best to express this? Perhaps when you are finding a restaurant and you are finding out that they are not just cooking well, doing the right things with their ingredients, but they are also having something that is going beyond what you can taste, beyond you have the feeling of, especially when a restaurant is having the ingredients from the region, like in Tuscany, that actually you can taste the land, this is perhaps not such a good example, but perhaps there is something where you can not only see the obvious, but you can see perhaps the love of the person that is putting this together, like perhaps a meal that you remember from your childhood. You could taste the love of your mother or grandmother that she was putting into cooking this meal. And I think this is making the things so much special to us, and to discover that you can do actually the same with your art is an outstanding opportunity to use. For me, it was also that from one moment the art that I was doing was going beyond the point of just mastering it. I have studied art in many museums. I have copied nearly, to say every important masterwork would be not right to tell, but the amount of artworks I was copying to master the skills was outstanding. But nevertheless, there was one point from which I was saying to myself, let's go beyond this point. Let's create another layer in my artistic work that will communicate so much more. And then I discovered that art can actually go beyond just artwork. It is about culture, civilization and philosophy. And with this I have discovered that I was actually, as an artist, weaving our layer of civilization. Okay, perhaps I am not an outstanding person or not such an important person, but nevertheless I have the opportunity to go beyond my art to contribute on another level. And this was for me so much more fulfilling. Perhaps you have already experienced somewhere the feeling that you are actually doing something that goes beyond your art. Most artists, especially poets or musicians, are discovering this when they are making music for a person, when they are first writing the poem for a special girl or boy, and they are discovering that there's something that is just going beyond the pretty words they are putting together. And in this way their art is becoming so much more. So perhaps there is something, and I think it is important to see beyond your own art, to discover actually that that to just master some skills is not enough. When we are starting, we are dedicated so much to the myth that our art should be perfect, that it should be made perfect. It is all about the perfection, like building a perfect product in the end. But when you are going beyond this myth, you are discovering that your art can become a medium for so much more self-expression. And this will not only give you satisfaction, but this will also give other people a different kind of experiencing your art, your culture. And it is so important to think about this direction, this purpose, this vision behind your art as fast as possible. I think when we would start even with our vision as the first thing in our art would become so much better, because we would not look for the perfect skill, but in the other way around, we will look for the perfect vessel for our vision. To start with the vision, this higher idea, with this purpose, is perhaps much better. I know it can be overwhelming to start with a vision, with a purpose, with a destiny as an artist, but nevertheless there's a much easier way. We can start with the reality around us and let this purpose, vision, with time manifest. So you can just open up to reality and discover the path to the vision that is for your art, that is already laid before you. Instead of overthinking it and mapping it out too fast, it is also possible just to to take part in the reality and just to capture the things that are resonating with us. And with time, out of this, it will distillate, it would crystallize. This is our vision, this is our purpose. When you could imagine for your own artistic doing right now, there would be a perfect day, a perfect surrounding that most likely would bring the best possibilities for your art. When you think about such a perfect day, this day would already involve all the necessary things that would give you art, a purpose, a vision. And when you are planning not to put ourselves in the position that we have to stripe down the vision, but creating a surrounding, a day that would involve all the necessary ingredients for our art, it would automatically make the vision, make the purpose, make the destiny for our art appear. I think one of the best way is to just follow your instinct. When you are thinking about the artworks that you have done so far, nevertheless, right now there are some artworks involved that are already giving you more that is just there for the naked eye. There are some of your artworks that already involve or giving you the feeling of a vision that is behind you, your art. And when you are just following your instinct, what really works for your art, you will discover a possibility, a surrounding, a perfect day that would really bring the best out of you. And with this, you can, with time, make your vision, your purpose clearer and clearer. It will involve, it will develop to a clear direction and to a clear purpose in time. When you give it enough time and you give it the possibility, and then that things will come and all you have to do then to discover your purpose, your vision, is to make the right choices. These choices will actually make the decision for you with time what will be the right ingredients for your vision. Many things are coming at you, and all you have to do is just to make the right decision. You have perhaps heard the saying that the director of a movie is making decisions, and he makes the wrong decisions and so on. And this is an interesting point of view, that actually a director is not creating but making the decisions. He is having people that are working for him, and they are bringing ideas or input forward, and he is directing with his decisions in which direction will this movie go. So you have the artists, the actors standing there, and there you have a scene, and before the scene is starting, they are talking about the scene, and every actor is making suggestion what this character will think and how it should act. And then the director is making the right choices between all those inputs, so the perfect scene is coming together. Of course, there are directors that are just having an idea and they are forcing those ideas on the actors, but the most creative directors, I think, are working more with the actors, and they are making choices. They are not forcing their ideas up on them, but they are waiting what is emerging from all the possibilities, and from these possibilities they are making the choices so a higher vision of this movie can appear. And I think to think about your art in the same way, not as of someone that is a dictator, that is forcing something on your art, that is having an idea and forcing it, but someone that is putting himself in the position where a lot of input is coming in, and then making the right choices between the inputs. This is putting something outstanding together, because this is then a organic grown vision. This is something that appeared out of the reality to which this artist opened himself. Especially artists like Van Gogh or Gauguin, they have traveled the world, they have put themselves in a position where a lot of input was coming in, and from this input they have then make the right choices. Gauguin was saying all great artists are painting from memory, so he spent a day somewhere, was taking in all the input, and then he let his subconscious decide what out of this input will re-emerge in his art. And I think this is an outstanding possibility to develop a vision, a higher purpose from your art, not by dictating it, but by making the right choices, and allow yourself actually to make also sometimes the wrong choices, because the conflict in which the artist is living, what choices should I make, are a sign of it that you are taking your art seriously, that you are taking the choices you are making seriously, and the conflicts that are perhaps arising when you are standing in front of the easel, that are a sign of it, that the transformation of this input into your art, the choices that you have to make for your vision, that are a serious thing to you, and that you are putting a lot of energy and thoughts into it. You are making a philosophy perhaps even out of it. So it is important as an artist to open yourself up to a reality that can give you a lot of input. So you are making choices and you are giving your art with time a direction. It is a balance between thinking and the subconscious mind. It is a dialogue, and this dialogue begins between you and the reality, then it continues in your mind by the choices you make, and then it's a dialogue again between you and you painting, and then it continues, it goes out in the world, and then the dialogue is also happening between the artwork and the audience, and there is always a personal touch between the two things. It is a way in which this higher purpose, this vision of your art is channeled through, first between you and the reality, then inside of you there is also a lot of channeling, then the channel goes out to the artwork, and then from the artwork to the audience, and in this way a dialogue is happening, and this dialogue is what is making out of art so much actually more. But nevertheless, to be practical, this channeling, this balancing, this making of choices, this opening up is all about making things. So it is less about overthinking and being afraid of making choice, but it is all about making a choice and trying it out, making an experiment. For us artists, we have an outstanding opportunity that actually it is allowed for us to make wrong choices. Some artworks are better, some artworks are bringing more to the point. It is like this vision that we are pursuing is searching for the best expression possible, and to see this vision in different facets appearing is really something that is interesting for the audience. Let's say someone like Gauguin, and you would like to know a little more about this tropical paradise he was living and working in, to see this paradise through the different facets, this vision that he has from this tropical paradise through the different facets of different painting is actually an experience. And then when you are traveling to Tahiti, you are seeing it with your own eyes, but you are also able to see it through his different facets, and this is making art so much richer. It is giving it a quality that is just overwhelming. But nevertheless, like Gauguin, it is all about making decisions and executing it. Sometimes it is better to make the wrong decision and execute it, and then you, in the fastest possible way, will know actually that this was not the right decision. So you can refocus yourself, you can open you up to something different, and you can make different choices, because the worst thing that you can do is actually to clinch to the wrong decision that you are made, and you are overthinking it, and you are never trying it out. You are allowed it to just go around in your head instead of just executing it, and then you are knowing it. You can clearly see it in your artwork. Then, is it working? Is it not working? Should I actually open myself to something else? Should I try something else? So it is all about doing. So vision should be also something that is really pragmatic. It is about focusing on the essential. Focus on what is essential to be clear how your vision can actually unfold. And this is the most important thing that we can learn from our path to a purpose, to our art, to be able to open yourself up and to focus as fast as it's possible on the essential things and try them out, so you know actually how can your vision, how can your purpose unfold in the fastest and best possible way. And in this way something special will transmit through your art, because you are not only captured in your own head, but you are opening yourself up and you are working with the reality out there. And the best thing is the audience is actually also out there in the reality, but you have the advantage that you are starting to focusing on something that is unseen in the reality, your very own vision. And part of this audience is also sensing this kind of vision in the reality, and then they are seeing it in your art, and they are connecting immediately with this. And in this way you are finding your audience so much faster, because on this unseen level, on this unseen layer of art, of this vision, of this purpose, this layer will be magnetic to a special kind of audience that is also seeing the same thing, but they cannot express it, and you can express it. And in this way you are becoming special to them, and you are becoming necessary, important to them, and this is the beginning of your artistic career. But nevertheless, it is all about being open, going out there, and just trying things. So this, what I was telling before about the problem of the student, what is the purpose of my art, where is this heading? It is all about execution. You like the way you have learned art. There was no other way. You can read as many books as you want. One day there will be a time when you have to take a pencil and you are starting to draw a circle, and this first circle will be imperfect, but with time you are with many circles you are capturing the essence of the circle, the essence that is necessary to have the imagination what a circle is, and the execution of your hand in a circle. It is something that is very essential, but nevertheless on these essential things everything is built up, and these essential things are only possible when we are start doing it, when you are starting executing it. Right now what I am telling you is perhaps a little bit scattered. I will try also to find the right essence of it, so it will have a better purpose for you. So I must sit down and put all this sort together. But nevertheless, I think you will find in the description down below a link that will guide you to something that is a far better support to you, because when you think what I'm telling you right now is interesting, you also might like what this link will lead you to. It is a far better support than me with the streams talking out loud. After the live stream I will have a walk and think about it and write it down, so it is becoming of more value and of more support to you. I also hope that I will see you in the next video, I think, I hope it is of some value and some inspiration to you, and see you perhaps tomorrow in the next video. Until then, see you soon. Bye bye.